You've always known that.
Drop the gun and get on the ground.
Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Suds in the Squared Circle podcast. My name is Vinny Apicella, and yes, I unfortunately missed a week last week just due to my schedule. Of course, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, working in hospitality management does have its pros, but sometimes the schedule is very hectic, and unfortunately, some things have to go by the wayside. But I am going to try to get better to make sure that it's a more consistent podcast for you. I did re-upload episode 17 that I had to take down for a minute due to a technical problem that I had. I accidentally erased part of it by accident. But I did re-upload that moment just recently, today. Today is April 10th, 2023, and it is a big week, big couple of weeks in the world of not only Port Charles, but also in WWE land, Stamford, Connecticut. Big news on the horizon. We're going to get to it all. I also want to say that I'm going to be dropping a bonus episode later on this week. Somebody had requested I do a watch-along to an episode of WWF Superstars from 1995. So I'm going to do that later on this week and drop that as a bonus episode. It looks like it's a pretty good card from what I saw. I mean, when I was first requested that, I thought it was going to be mainly squash matches because that's what Superstars was. However, it does have a match between the Smoking Guns and the Shogun, and I never knew that Quang and Hakushi as a tag team were collectively known as the Shogun. That's something that I never knew about. But the Allied Powers were on the episode, and quite a number of other things, as well as the very first episode that Doc Hendricks filled in for Jerry Lawler as color commentator with Vince McMahon. So we will see that. That was April of 95. Before the NWO, before the Monday Night Wars kicked off. So I will drop that as a bonus episode later on this week. However, I want to thank everybody for being here and listening to Suds in the Squared Circle. Again, my name is Vinny Apicella, and I do want to let everybody know that you could go ahead and follow us on Twitter at SudsSQCirclePod. Follow on TikTok at Suds_squared_circled. Follow on Instagram at Suds in Squared Circle. You can email me, Vinny, VINNIE, at sudsandsquaredcircle.com. Visit the website, www.sudsandsquaredcircle.com. And then you could buy our merch, sudsquarecircle.threadless.com. You can also go on and visit us on Facebook, like the page, follow the page. It is facebook.com/sudsandsquaredcircle. So I want to thank everybody for listening, and today I am going to be going over all of the news that I've missed over the past couple of weeks, starting off with WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles. WrestleMania goes Hollywood for the second time. And let me tell you something. Night one was an awesome night. I think night one was the better of the two nights. But night two had its own WrestleMania moments, as I will play for you in just a moment. And then the night after WrestleMania, last Monday, which everybody looks at, the Raw after WrestleMania as being the biggest Raw of the year. You know, NXT call-ups and free agent signings and everything happens. Unfortunately, it was kind of a letdown. From all intents and purposes, it was a letdown, the Raw after WrestleMania. However, the SmackDown after WrestleMania was much, much better. And also, going over to the Port Charles side of what I follow, the General Hospital side, we did have the start of the Nurses Ball. There's still a little bit to go on today's episode, Monday the 10th, episode of General Hospital. And then we will find out for sure what's going on with the big plans with Uncle Victor Cassadine, because he now has possession of the Ice Princess. He also has possession of little baby Ace, and he's lured Spencer to the Haunted Star. It's all coming together for the 60th anniversary of General Hospital. Like I said, April 1st was a big day. First off, it was the 4-year anniversary of the 10th Floor podcast. Remember, Matt was on last month with a great interview. So that's the 4th. So happy anniversary to the 10th Floor. I believe it was 4 year, maybe 4 or 5 year, maybe 4. I think it was 4 year. And then also it is the 5th anniversary of the Pier 54 podcast. So happy anniversary to both of them, as well as the 60th anniversary for General Hospital and WrestleMania weekend, where it all kicks off the new stories. And you know what? The Bloodline story is continuing. That's our first clip of the day. Here is the ending of WrestleMania Sunday, Night 2. The ending of the WWE, let's see, how do I say it? The undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between the head of the table, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, and the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Is all of us right now. Cody desperately draping arm across a fallen Roman, but Reigns kicks out again. I don't even know what else. Cody served and scene. Cody to his knees. Roman Reigns making it back to his knees. The undisputed championship match continues. With both champion and challenger, both appear to have a little bit more fight left. This for the richest prize in sports entertainment. And for Cody, it's more than that. For Cody, it's legacy. It's to do something that his family's never done before, has never accomplished at this level. Battering the hell out of each other. Rhodes and Reigns dropping bombs on one another. Went for the Superman punch. Cody sidestep. Cody now with the left jabs. Hello, American Dream. With a flip-flop and fly. With a bionic elbow. Up goes the right hand. He's gonna do it. Cody Rhodes has realized. No, wait a minute. Do it again, Cody. One more. Cody has realized the American dream. Don't stop till the story's done. Heyman with the official. What? Who the? Solo with a Samoan spike. Where the hell did Solo come from? Oh my God, not like this. Spear. Here is your winner, and still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes suffered a true American nightmare tonight.
And we're back after that. Michael Cole summed it up best. Cody Rhodes suffered an American nightmare at WrestleMania. The first time a Rhodes family member main evented WrestleMania. And everybody thought going in that Cody was going to be the chosen one to end the reign of Roman Reigns at 945 days. However, it continues on, and by May, by the end of May, he's going to hit 1,000 days as WWE Universal Champion. Of course, he got the WWE Championship back last year's WrestleMania from Brock Lesnar. And he is the first ever WWE Champion to defend his title at 3 consecutive WrestleManias during the same title reign, which is a feat. And he's getting into the territory of being as popular as names like Pedro Morales. I think he's only got a number of days left to bypass Pedro Morales, Bob Backlund, Hulk Hogan, and Bruno Sammartino. I believe he's already at the point, or he's close to the point of breaking Bruno's second reign, which was, I believe, 3 years or something. But amazingly, he is just absolutely 110% firing on all cylinders. Of course, being sports entertainment, we all know that it's, predetermined and everything. However, from what I've heard, and this is, I've heard numerous reports saying that the idea to have Reigns go over was made weeks ago. It wasn't a split-second thing. It wasn't a punishment thing. It was made weeks ago. The story is still ongoing, and Triple H made mention of that at the press conference after Mania, is that the story's still going on. And some of the wrestling media, one thing I have to say is, if you don't listen to it, you should listen to Busted Open. It's on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 150, I believe, or something to that effect. It's on Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to noon. But Dave LaGreca is kind of the voice of the fans, right? He's the biggest fan. He started the show 13 years ago, and or 15 years ago, or something to that effect. And he's the voice of the fans. He's got on there Bully Ray, Bubba Ray Dudley, Mickey James, Tommy Dreamer, Mark Henry, Thunder Rosa, as well as some other fill-ins. And Bully Ray, I have such respect for him because he kind of brings it down to a level where it makes total sense, and he doesn't give a shit, quite honestly. The thing is that Bully Ray said it best. If they're still making money is the biggest thing. It's got to draw money. And he basically explained that that's why there's still money on the table, right? So Cody Rhodes has to go through his hard times. That is exactly what and then even still, the day after WrestleMania, or later that night, Brandy Rhodes, his, Cody's wife, tweeted out, "Hard times breed better men." It says it right in the song, right in the American Nightmare song. Cody Rhodes' song is the name of the song is Adrenaline by Downstate. And it says it right in there. And of course, Dusty Rhodes is known for the Hard Times promo back in Jim Crockett era. And Cody has to go through his hard times. He is the perfect person to go through. And honestly, I still think there might be that ultimate goal of having Cody Rhodes defeat Roman Reigns. We've heard so many different names, and the best thing about the Bloodline storyline, the absolute best thing about what's going on, is that during this entire run, for the most part, actually for the past 6 months, basically it's been unpredictable. And you don't hear that a lot in wrestling anymore, because for people who have been watching WWE for 40 years like I have, and it's the same thing with soap operas, they recycle storylines. So you look at it and go, oh, this has been done before, we know what's going to happen. yada yada this, yada yada that. But you don't necessarily understand that, quite honestly, that gets to a point where the fans become jaded and they become the lapsed fans, right? Because everybody thinks that, oh yeah, well, quite honestly, we know what's going to happen. We know that Reigns is going to win, or we know that Cody's going to take the title. There's only, as far as I know, like, I was 50-50 on it. Like, I knew that I would enjoy the match. I knew that I would enjoy the outcome and the story, no matter who won, whether it was Cody Rhodes, whether it was Roman Reigns. And there was one person on Twitter who I'm friends with who, was so adamant that Roman Reigns has to win. And this person is very upset about Cody Rhodes, quote unquote, being shoved down our throats and this and that. And Cody hasn't paid his dues. And, he comes back immediately, and immediately gets in the title picture. First off, he's been there a year. But he was sidelined for 9 months because of the pec injury. Now, if Cody didn't go down with the pec injury, he could have been built up more. And then it would have been, in my opinion, Rhodes winning at Mania. Are they going to carry it out till next year's Mania? They got to have a hell of a story. They have to have a hell of a story. I want to believe that they are going to end the bloodline relatively soon, maybe SummerSlam. Think about it. Somebody else made a comment that Dusty had the title stolen from him at Madison Square Garden. There's going to be, I believe, a live event, or maybe a Raw or a SmackDown coming to Madison Square Garden in June, and maybe that's where Cody went. I don't think, I mean, again, there's so much unpredictability in the storyline that it could happen, but I don't think they would end Roman Reigns' historic reign on a live event that's not televised, that they can't, well, I mean, they can't necessarily make money off of the premium live events. Well, that's another thing. But I don't think they're going to go ahead and end it on a live event. I really don't. I think it may be SummerSlam. If Cody gets to the point where he's built up enough and built up big enough again to say, hey, Roman, Solo was the one that cost me the title at Mania. You cannot win without outside help. And he could name, going back all the way, he can name all of the title defenses where Roman Reigns needed help, whether it's from the Usos, whether it's from Solo. Because remember, even going back to Clash at the Castle, right, back in September, when Reigns faced McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre came out with the awesome promo, the awesome video montage that included Broken Dreams. And again, everybody thought, this is a guy that's going to end the reign. And he lost. And why? Now, the Usos were not in the country. They were not out there. Neither was Sami Zayn, who was part of the Bloodline at the time. So who was the person that helped Reigns win at that point? It was Solo Sikoa. So Solo has become the enforcer of the Bloodline, as we all know. And I really think that might be the story going forward, that Cody's going to come out and say, listen, you can't win without Solo. So why don't we put Solo in a shark cage above the ring? Now, here's the thing. What they pulled at Mania was a Dusty finish. Okay, and Dusty Rhodes' booking philosophy has been at play this entire, this whole Cody Rhodes, streak, so to speak. This Cody Rhodes run. And now that Cody Rhodes is in the world title picture, okay, there are going to be a lot of flashbacks or throwbacks to the bygone era, to the Dusty Rhodes era. And I really do think that this is going to be so fun. The ride is going to be so fun. Like I said, let's put Solo Sikoa in a shark cage. And then there's going to be something else that happens that thwarts the babyface, that thwarts Cody from getting the title. Maybe it'll come down to a steel cage match, right? Maybe it'll come down to a Hell in a Cell. I don't want to see a ladder match or anything, but an old school cage match where you're going to have Roman Reigns in there against Cody and nobody can come in. And maybe there might be a special guest enforcer, Well, we know it's not going to be Brock Lesnar because of this.
The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes! Wait a second! What the hell? Lesnar just F5 Rhodes!
That's right. The Raw after WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar attacks Cody Rhodes. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what the story is going forward, but if Cody's going to be in a program with Brock going forward, that's definitely going to bring up the I don't know about reliability, but definitely the reputation of Cody. Get him really integrated into that World Championship picture. Is Brock gonna become somebody that's like a hired mercenary for the Bloodline? We all know that Brock cannot challenge Roman Reigns for the title anymore after SummerSlam. However, we all know that Paul Heyman is known to pull strings, right? Paul is a creative genius. What if we get to a point now where Brock gets bought off by Heyman, and Heyman goes to Brock and says, hey, could you take care of this Cody Rhodes problem for the Bloodline? You can't challenge Reigns anymore for the title right now, but if you happen to take out Cody, I could get a word with the tribal chief and give you one more shot at the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. It could be. Or on the other hand, Brock could have said, I can't beat him. Let me join them, right? He's got that relationship with Paul. And somebody, and I'm going to bring somebody else on the podcast within the next couple of weeks who's a big fan from Texas, same age group as I am, lover of the Bloodline, right? And here's my thought. And she pointed out that Brock is a lone wolf. He's a single guy, solo. He's not going to be there, but he's not going to join a faction, so to speak. So it remains to be seen. There are so many unanswered questions, and so many questions that arise now from what's been going on and from this story. My biggest thing is I love the story. I just don't want the rest of the card to suffer, right? The rest of the talent. I mean, you hear rumors that Drew McIntyre's upset. That's why he hasn't re-signed a new deal yet. There's interest from AEW, there's interest from Impact or New Japan, and that they just haven't signed a new contract yet, and now he's out with a medical problem or a health problem. He was pulled from SmackDown last week. He was pulled from an autograph signing, so his deal is almost up, and we have heard that the WWE is on a spending freeze right now, a hiring freeze. Although they did just re-sign Logan Paul today. That's breaking news. They did re-sign Logan Paul to another contract, which is great because Logan Paul is awesome. But so you hear about Bayley being upset. Becky Lynch had a fight to be on SummerSlam supposedly. And then with Damage Control losing at WrestleMania to Trish, Lita, and Becky, which in my opinion was the wrong choice, but I think they're going to be going with a different storyline. Maybe Bayley will turn on Damage Control or what have you. It's always a possibility, and I like the stories of where they're going, and I hope that Triple H is not in over his head. But again, that brings up the other question. The elephant in the room, or should I say the mustache in the room. Vince McMahon has been back in Gorilla. He's been helping and kind of mentoring Triple H, and he's been putting input for the matches and input in Gorilla and what's been going on there. So this leads the IWC the internet wrestling community to be all up in arms, saying, "Oh my God, Vince is back. You know, he's going to ruin the He's going to ruin the WWE again. The creator's going to go down the tubes because Vince is an 80-year-old, out-of-touch old man." Well, apparently, some SmackDown was a lot better. Apparently, here's the thing. I think, from what I've heard, I think the WWE trolled the wrestling community, the IWC, on Monday night. From last week's Monday Night Raw, because from all the reports that I've seen is that they wanted the show to be a letdown. They wanted people to be upset and think that Vince was back in control, and now that we saw SmackDown, knowing full well that Vince had nothing to do with SmackDown, nothing to do with Gorilla, and Triple H was firmly in charge, and Triple H did come out and say they're not going anywhere. And why would he say they're not going anywhere? Well, like I said, biggest elephant in the room announced on WrestleMania Sunday, hours before the event went live. WWE has been acquired by Endeavor Media. Endeavor, who owns the UFC, and Ari Emanuel, who is the CEO or the head president of Endeavor, has announced that UFC and WWE will merge into a brand new company that will cover both WWE and UFC. And basically the structure is going to be Ari Emanuel is going to be at the top. Vince McMahon is going to be chief executive of the board of directors of the new company. Dana White is going to be the president of UFC. It's going to continue to be where that is. And Nick Khan is going to remain the president of the WWE. Triple H will stay in his role as chief content officer, which that remains to be seen as if he's going to have to now book for UFC, or if the UFC booking is going to keep with UFC. I have no idea. But there's a lot of questions. Again, there supposedly has been a hiring freeze, which kind of puts free agents out. From what I heard, there were a couple of free agents that haven't been around, that weren't able to get contracts with the WWE because of this hiring freeze, and that's Nick Aldis, who left the NWA late last year and has been rumored to come to the WWE, or interested in coming to the WWE, and also Jay White, who made his AEW debut this past Wednesday on Dynamite. But it's, but like I said, they just re-signed Logan Paul, which I believe is a great choice, and one of the bigger wins for the WWE was to re-sign Logan Paul, because with Logan Paul comes all of his social media audience, and the dude is I hate the word influencer, but he is a celebrity, and he gets wrestling, he gets the WWE, he gets it. He's got the charisma, he's got the athletic. Hell, he does a better buckshot lariat than Adam Page, who created the daggone move, and he made it his own. The dude is fantastic. Now, I did get into a little bit of trouble on Twitter. Now, this guy who was out there at SummerSlam, or at WrestleMania with Logan Paul, who was in the mascot suit of his drink, Prime Energy or whatever it is, the guy, what's his name, KSI? I'd never heard of him. There are many people who never heard of him. I mean, maybe he's a big internet influencer. I never heard of him. And honestly, a lot of people in my age bracket who live outside of the UK, I guess he's bigger in the UK than the US. I said nobody over the age of 15 even knew who he was. I thought it was R-Truth. Or, I thought it was R-Truth. And I don't want that to come back and say, oh, because he's that race, they're all... No, I thought it was R-Truth. But I never heard of this KSI guy. So, I got into a little bit of trouble on Twitter because I said that nobody over the age of 18 knew who he was, and people jumped on my throat. And, it's amazing how toxic the internet community, the Twitter community is. If, calling me a retard or a moron or dumbass or, different disrespectful terms. Now, granted, they're words, they don't bother me. I'm not one of these fragile little snowflakes that, their mental health gets, hurt by words. Come on, but I get it. If you're somebody that gets hurt by how people feel about you and by what different people call you, I get it. Twitter is toxic. No matter who owns it, whether it's the original owners of Twitter or Elon Musk or, whatever. Twitter is toxic. And, everybody said, oh yeah, when Elon Musk bought it, that, all the bigots and racists and everybody would come out. That's not true. The bigots and everybody were always there. And they always have been there, and they always will be there until society gets better. But, so it's just amazing to me how toxic Twitter can be. So be better. If you don't agree, you don't agree. Or if somebody literally doesn't know what you know, instead of calling them names, why don't you provide a link and say, hey, this is who this guy is. Or here's some of his work. Instead of saying, no, you moron, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just, it's ridiculous. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anywho, moving on. There's my rant for the day. WrestleMania in itself was fantastic. Going down the card, and just give me one moment. I'm a little bit unprepared. WrestleMania 39. We're going to go over the results of WrestleMania 39. And that was, like I said, WrestleMania from Hollywood. Okay. So, on night one, WrestleMania Saturday, United States Champion Austin Theory defeated John Cena, and Cena lost a step. I'm sorry. Theory had a win, but it just was not Cena's greatest match. Honestly, it just wasn't. Cena looked like he missed a step. He wasn't really up to it, which is sad. So Theory defeated Cena. Street Profits win the Men's WrestleMania Showcase 4-way tag match. Seth Rollins defeated Logan Paul, which, okay, Rollins won. Paul, it's on a losing streak, which is okay. Paul, look at this, though. In the past, his previous two actual matches, outside of the Royal Rumble, Logan Paul lost to Roman Reigns, who's the Universal Champion, right? And Seth Rollins, who's been there for over a decade at this point, and has been a former champion. So that's nothing to sneeze at. Paul is in the main event picture, no matter what you think. Yes, he's an attraction, but he's in that main event picture. Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus defeated Damage Control. I thought Damage Control should have won. That would cement them, and cement that faction, because Damage Control has been one of those factions where not many people are into them. Not many people see the upside to their match, or to their like, they don't gel. Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, they just have nothing in common. So it's just amazing to me as to why they're together. Like, there's no gelling there. So that would, that doesn't necessarily help their case. Rey Mysterio defeated Dominic Mysterio, and let me tell you, the entrances in this match was fantastic. Dominic Mysterio is going to be a major player in the WWE going forward. I guarantee it. And, the entrance with the, being led in the paddy wagon and being led down by cops and having the handcuffs taken off, and, the guys, the character's only been in lockup for one night, right? It just, he lost, but he still has so much. He's actually got more heat now that he lost than if he had won. And that's amazing. And then the part in the match where Rey Mysterio, whipped him with the belt was just absolutely fantastic. So Great match all around. Rhea Ripley defeated Charlotte Flair to capture the SmackDown Women's Championship. Amazing match. In my opinion, probably one of the best matches of the weekend. Rhea Ripley has it going on. Charlotte's going to be taking some time away from the ring again, which at this point, Charlotte is an attraction. So it's okay. Go away. Let us miss you. Come back and then have a title run. Or have a great, series of matches and a great storyline. And then take your, she's preserving her body. She's in her late 30s at this point, and then she's taking that time away to, so that she could prolong her career. Something that honestly Rick never had her father, Ric Flair, never had the luxury of doing. Like, he was wrestling 320 or 350 days a year because that's what he had to do. It really wasn't until he actually made it to, the end of WCW and the WWE that he got to take some time off, and recuperate. He wasn't on that big schedule. So, Pat McAfee came back, a surprise. I think it's going to end up being Pat McAfee's a surprise at every, major premium live event going forward. So McAfee came back. He defeated The Miz. And then, in an impromptu match. And then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeated the Usos, become the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. This is the first time since WrestleMania 1 that a tag team match has main evented WrestleMania, which obviously it's night 1. And then it's the very first time that a tag team championship match main evented WrestleMania. So kudos to them. All props to Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Usos. A fantastic match. Night 1, in my opinion, was better than night 2. And then moving on to night 2. First match of the night for night 2. Brock Lesnar defeated Omos with MVP. Before he turned heel. Before Brock turned heel. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defeated Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Natalya and Shotzi and Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville by submission. In that, women's WrestleMania showcase. Gunther defeated Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Triple threat match to keep the IC championship in what Dave Meltzer gave 5 stars to. Bianca Belair kept her Raw Women's Championship by defeating Asuka. And then Snoop Dogg defeated The Miz. So here's the thing. Snoop Dogg, now, as I said for night 1, Pat McAfee came back, right? And had a match with The Miz. Night 2, Shane McMahon was the surprise to come out to face The Miz. Shane came out, he was bebopping around all the ring and blah, 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 blah. And then he goes to start the match with The Miz, goes for a leapfrog, comes down and tears his quad. Now it must run in the McMahon family. Triple H tore his quads, Vince tore his quads, and now Shane tore his quad. So Shane McMahon tore his quad and was down and out, and that the Snoop Dogg came, he improvised. Snoop Dogg improvised, went in, gave The Miz a right hand, another one, and then gave him the doggy elbow, which, the people's elbow. Oh my God, it was hilarious. I was dying laughing. But even Triple H said that match was saved by Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg had the wherewithal to just ad-lib and improvise and went with it. Hell in a Cell match, Edge defeated the Demon Finn Balor, which, in my opinion, kind of kills the Demon character. I think the Demon is like on a 2-match losing streak. First, last time the Demon came out was against Roman Reigns for the world title and lost. And then now Edge in the Hell in a Cell. Edge should have lost. Like, Edge didn't need to win, but I honestly feel like Balor winning would have made better sense. This match, in my opinion, had a couple of different letdowns. First off, when Edge had his entrance, he came out, first off, they started playing a Slayer song, right? And the Titantron said Brood Edge, right? Like, as in teasing the Brood. But the Brood music wasn't playing. And then, they they supposedly brought Gangrel into WrestleMania. WWE did. Now we know that WrestleCon was out there, and so many other independent shows were out there. So we could have had other stuff to do, right? But from what I heard, WWE specifically brought Gangrel in for WrestleMania, and then Tony Khan supposedly gave his blessing if they wanted to have Christian there, right? To come out with the actual Brood entrance, but again, it didn't happen. And, and then Edge comes out with his normal song. Demon comes out for the first time since Finn Balor joined the Judgment Day. Great match. Of course, they had, they had red chairs, right? Which, red Edge's color. So here's what I find funny. They brought the original Hell in a Cell back, right? The original color, regular chain link, silver, not painted red or anything, right? So the original Hell in a Cell is back, but yet they have red folding chairs and purple kendo sticks. Obviously, purple being the color of the Judgment Day, red is one of Edge's colors, so that makes sense there. But why? Why do you need the weapons inside Hell in a Cell? That's what gets Jim Cornette so mad, because it's like a gimmick on a gimmick. The cell itself is a gimmick. But whatever the case. And then you heard the ending of the match. Roman Reigns keeps the title against Cody Rhodes. Amazing. So on night one, you had 2 championship matches and 3 championship matches, 2 championship changing hands. And then on night 2, you had 3 championship matches, and all 3 champions retained their title. Amazing weekend, amazing weekend. And the pundits are out, whether they're WWE legends, whether they're, former managers or dirt sheet writers or podcasters like me, fans. Everybody has an opinion about the main event. Should Cody have won? What's it going to do to Cody? Has Cody been Lex Luger? Honestly, no. I think Drew McIntyre is the new Lex Luger, in my opinion. McIntyre had that great run during COVID. Nobody got to witness his, run, right? Because of COVID. And then he lost the title to, who was it, Brock? Or Lashley, or, you know what I mean? You can't even remember who beat McIntyre for the title. And then, you go on, and he was he didn't win at Clash at the Castle. And then now, he couldn't win the IC title from Gunther. He's been in a tag team with Sheamus. Now they're fighting, and I just don't understand why they're not utilizing Drew McIntyre. Like, give the guy his props. Give him the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. The guy is fantastic. He's in great shape. He's got that look. He's got it. A fantastic wrestler, fantastic WWE superstar. He should, I thought he should have been the one to take out Roman Reigns, or at least get back to that main event picture, because now floundering in the IC championship, right? Because after Luger couldn't beat Yokozuna at Mania, what happened? He floundered around a bit. He had a storyline with Tatanka when Tatanka sold out and went to the $1 Million Corporation, and then by the next WrestleMania, he was in a tag team with the Bulldog, and then later that year, he goes back to WCW. Yeah, he was a world champion in WCW, but, it's like you build somebody up so high. And SummerSlam 92, all right? Lex Luger, throughout that entire summer, was built up to be the next Hulk Hogan. He slammed Yokozuna on the Intrepid. He went on the Lex Express. He was, being built up to win, right? And usually in the WWE, in the New York territory, you like having historically, they liked having a babyface champion. All of the heel champions were just placeholders, right? They were transitional. Whether it was superstar Billy Graham, whether it was, Sergeant Slaughter, and everybody thought that it would have been Yokozuna as a transitional champion, to get it from Hogan at King of the Ring 1993, right? That's what it was, 93, yeah, King of the Ring 93. And no, King of the Ring 92. And then to go to SummerSlam, was it 92? No, SummerSlam 93, not 92, it was SummerSlam 93. King of the Ring 93, and you get Yokozuna defeating Hogan. SummerSlam 93, it should have been Luger defeating Yokozuna and getting the title going into Mania. And then if you want to have Yokozuna win the title back or whatever, that's how it should have been, in my opinion. Of course, I wasn't there. I wasn't part of the booking team. I was a fan. And going from Hogan to Luger was a natural progression. I don't understand how they're saying that Luger never had the fan base. I don't know. Maybe it was just being tired or fatigued from Hogan, and it was the same story. The American, the patriot against the foreign threat, right? Because going into Survivor Series that year, that's basically what it was. The Americans versus the foreigners. So it's, but then you get somebody like Drew McIntyre, who was at the top of the world. Last year at Mania, he faced, oh crap, who did he face at Mania last year? I know that he cut the ropes, right? Cut the rope, in the middle of the, at the end of the match. But, you had Drew McIntyre last year do something that wasn't title worthy. This year he's fighting for the IC championship. So, matter of fact, I think last year he fought Seth Rollins, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, I think that's it. Cody Rhodes is not going to be Lex Luger because it's going to be, the story is still playing out. And I really think that eventually Cody will get the title. I really do think that. They have so much equity built up in not only the bloodline, whoever breaks the bloodline. Could it be an internal threat? Could Solo Sikoa break out and end up beating Roman? Could it be The Rock? Even though The Rock doesn't need the championship. Like, if The Rock comes back and says, you know what, I'm going to be in Cody Rhodes' corner. There's going to be that internal, and eventually Roman Reigns loses the title, and it sets up The Rock and Reigns for WrestleMania next year. It can't be with the title. Get the title away from Reigns because The Rock doesn't need the title, and then if you keep the title on Reigns, that Reigns is going to win, right? Unless you do a schmooze where you have Reigns get disqualified or whatever, which would suck at a Mania, in a Mania main event, right? So who knows how that's going to end? Who knows how the story's going to end? I love it. Stay tuned for the story. Moving on to another story. Moving on to Port Charles, New York. General Hospital, the Nurses Ball week is here. Again, happy 60th anniversary to General Hospital. Oh, another anniversary I have to mention. 8-year anniversary for JLJ Media for the GH Mini Spotlight and James Law Jr. So happy anniversary to all of them. Along with the 10th floor and Pier 54. Happy anniversary all around. But this week on Friday's episode, it started with a bang, literally. And I'm going to bring that to you right now.
Ah, finally. Well, that's more like it. Release them. The tragedy is that we could have done this together, Valentine. You and me, father and son. Instead, I've had to choose another heir to carry on the Cassadine name. Your betrayal broke my heart. So, it's only fair that I return the favor.
That is right. Friday's episode started with Victor Cassadine getting the actual Ice Princess from Valentine and Anna, who were obviously the safe house. and then, Valentine shooting Anna in the abdomen to make sure that he doesn't get followed. Lucy had escaped, going out the window, getting finally to the Metro Court, which that was a whole big thing. Lucy had gone ahead and snuck out earlier in the day, which is how Victor found them in the first place. And this, again, the storylines of General Hospital are fantastic. Last Wednesday, the 29th of March, they had their tribute show to Epiphany. And she died a hero. The way they wrote her off the canvas, and Yvette Nicole Brown, who was one of her real friends in real life, guest starred on the show as the victim that, the car crash victim that Epiphany had saved while she was, that she died at. Apparently, she had some kind of a heart attack or cardiac event while helping this woman out of the car, and ended up dying in the hospital. And it was a sad, sad day. Sonia Eddy, who beloved on General Hospital as Epiphany Johnson, and beautiful voice, as always saying, "I'm not alone anymore. You're not alone anymore." When she passed away, I did play that song at the end of the show that week. But amazing woman, amazing friend. The show itself, that ended with a bang as well, with Obrecht setting off fireworks that actually Epiphany had requested her being the only one to do so, because they were not friends. They were, and Obrecht said it best, saying, I'm not happy she died, but I'm not going to go to a funeral for somebody I wasn't friends with, because I guess a lot of people did that with Britt. People that had been, nasty to Britt still ended up going to the funeral, and it's like, is the sympathy like skin deep? You know what I mean? So she didn't feel right, and I felt that was actually quite respectful. And then Diane came over and said, as the executive of her will, she actually has something for you to do. Now, there's a theory. The girls, or I should say one of the girls, Shannon from Pier 54, actually said that Epiphany's ashes were in those fireworks. When Obrecht was setting them off, she said, rest easy, my adversary, or whatever the case was. And, so it's a possibility. I don't know for sure if that was what it was. But, I really don't know if that's what it was or not. But either way, it was a touching episode. I teared up because it was very emotional. But then, life moves on. We get into the nurses' ball. Obviously, the first nurses' ball since, it was resurrected in 2013 at the 50-year anniversary, that didn't include Epiphany. And so it was dedicated to Epiphany, also dedicated to presumed dead Lucy, which is fun because Lucy, we all know, is not dead, and makes a grand appearance at the end of the nurses' ball, the end of the episode, coming through her portrait, in only a fashion that Lucy could do, right? Only Lucy could do that, but, which is funny. Anywho, then you have Spencer and Trina getting closer, and while they're trying to talk about whether they're going to continue on to the path of being romantically involved, they keep getting interrupted. First by Sonny, then by Joss, then by a phone call from Victor. And, they finally get to the point where, they want to be together. But then, Trina comes out and sees Spencer verbally berating Dax, saying you're an employee, you better get to work. Why are you drinking on the job? And it's, Trina coming over and saying, was I wrong about you again? Right? She sits there with egg on her face. Spencer, and here's a debate. Spencer finally goes to the Metro Court. Not the Metro Court, to the Haunted Star, where Victor said, I will have baby Ace and have Esme taken care of. And just come to the Haunted Star when I call you, my boy. So he did, and the haunted star starts moving, right? And they're going to sea. So Victor now has Obrecht, who during the magic show of James and Georgie was in the disappearing box, and she disappeared all right. She never came back. Lo and behold, they show that she's stuffed in the trunk, and we believe that's Victor, and which is almost overkill at this point. Because obviously we knew that Victor has the hots for Obrecht, and now that Obrecht and Scotty are broken up, he's going after her again, and so he kidnaps her, whatever. But see, here's the thing: the next day she was scheduled to give the bone marrow transplant for Willow, so that's even more drama for Willow now, and. I don't know. I just think it's overkill at this point. If you're going to kill Willow off, kill her off, right? Don't just keep saying that she's going to have this series of unfortunate events and she's not, you know what I mean? And then eventually it's going to be this long, drawn-out death. Like, at this point, I really could care less about Willow. I don't care whether she lives or dies, the character. I don't care. I just... Because here's the thing. She hid from everybody for the first trimester of her pregnancy that she even was diagnosed with leukemia because she didn't want to have an abortion. Okay, understandable. That's the character's choice. But see, here's the thing. If you're gonna have leukemia and be diagnosed with leukemia, at least tell your significant other, your boyfriend, the man you claim to love and trust. And you can't, you know what I mean? Oh, I don't want people to look at me differently. Really? Like, this could have all been prevented. Now, she waited to do the chemo because of the pregnancy, right? Because it didn't get, so that it couldn't harm the baby after the first however long it was. You know what I mean? But see, it's been so dragged out, and honestly, in my opinion, she brought it on herself. Not that she brought on leukemia by herself, but the fact is that she didn't say anything from the very beginning. And see, here's the thing. Now, obviously, it comes back to your choice whether you want to go through an abortion or whatever. And I think that's the point that GH is trying to make, is that it's the mother's choice. And there were people getting on. There were people on Twitter, getting on Willow and saying, oh, and General Hospital in general saying, why are you making this an abortion thing, and why would you make the character not want to do this, to not get an abortion, and shoving the pro-life thing down our throats? And it's like, wait a minute. It's okay for characters to be pro-choice, you know what I mean, or pro-life, because that's the whole concept of soap operas, that the characters are usually based in reality. So there are people out there who are pro-life that will not terminate a pregnancy for their own health. Then there are somebody where you think about it, you can't miss what you don't know, right? And you make the choice to terminate the pregnancy to save your own health, because it's a decision that should be made between both parents. She should have clued Michael in and given him the option to say, hey, if it comes to a choice between you and the baby that I don't know, yeah, we love the baby, but your health is more important because you're here now, right? That's a decision to be made between both parties. And without getting political, because I've been known to do that, I'm going to leave it at that. It's a choice that should have been made with both parties. Now, Curtis and Portia is still on the outs, and, Curtis and Jordan almost kissed a couple times. Portia, I think, here's the thing. I think Curtis is overreacting because there's, and I get it. It's a big secret, but I think you have to look at, he's got to look at Portia's point of view, but then again, they've been back in each other's orbit for the past, 2 or 3 years now. So why couldn't she say anything at that point? Say, hey, we need to talk, back, X number of years ago when we were, after our affair and you found out that I was married, here's the deal. 20 years ago, I gave birth to Trina. And, I didn't tell you at the time because you were in a bad place and I felt that my baby's safety was more important and I didn't want to hurt Marcus. But now that we're all adults here, I should tell you that, Trina may be your daughter. At the very beginning, instead of dragging it out now. And, it's soapy drama. I get it. There's a secret that has to get in between every marriage. You know what I mean? So that's a way that it could have gone down. Let's see. What else is going on in Port Charles besides the main stuff? I love seeing all the veteran actors there. I love seeing Jeannie Francis and Christina Wagner and, Tristan Rogers and Finola Hughes. I'm not a big Anna fan, but the story is fantastic. When you have Laura and Robert and Mac and Felicia and, Anna and now Valentine in the mix, who is a legacy character in his own right, and Victor, I really hope that this week we get a cameo from Anthony Gary. I really, really hope that there's at least some kind of a cameo from Anthony Gary and he's able to, even just a pre-recorded thing to say, hey, I'm alive, but my death was faked because Victor was coming after me or whatever. We still have to see the conclusion of the Ice Princess story, which is coming to a head, I guarantee you, this week. Because today's episode, Monday the 10th, is going to be the Friday episode from last week. And it's going to have that big cliffhanger. Because Tuesday's episode was preempted for some strange news reason. Probably the indictment of President Trump, which was political witch hunt. Again, I'm not getting political on the show. I'm just putting in my 2 cents that... Anywho. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. That's all you need to know. Anywho. I want to see Anthony Gary with some kind of a cameo. I know he's retired and he and his husband are living peacefully in Amsterdam and, he has no interest in acting anymore and I get it. But we know that Tracy is coming back. We know that, she's signed on to come back for a short run. Rumor has it that Holly is coming back, although here's the thing is like everybody looks at the credits on a Friday, right? Where you go ahead and there's so many people on contract and they're recurring and it breaks down at some point and apparently Emma Samms has been listed on the contract side of credits for the past number of weeks. We haven't seen her on at all, and then this week she's no longer there. So was General Hospital trolling us? Trolling the dirt sheet writers for soap operas? And honestly, the dirt sheet writers at soap operas don't nearly have as bad of a reputation or as bad of a relationship with the fans for soap operas than they do for in wrestling. So take that with what you will. Like Soap Opera Digest and Soaps in Depth, they're not nearly in as bad terms with fans as The Observer or The Torch. You know what I mean? Or Zero News or all these other ones that are popping up. But anyways, it's been almost an hour and a half. So I'm going to end the show. Like I said, later this week, I'm going to drop a bonus episode, which is a watch along of an episode of Superstars from 1995. My name is Vinny Apicella. Follow me on Twitter at the Apicella Suds. Follow the show on Twitter at Suds SQ Circle Pod. Follow on TikTok at Suds_squared_circle. Follow on Instagram at Suds and Squared Circle. Email me any information that you want, whether it's a question, whether it's a comment, whether it's a possible storyline thought. Vinny, VINNIE, at sudsandsquaredcircle.com. The website, of course, is www.sudsandsquaredcircle.com. Buy our merchandise, sudssquarecircle.threadless.com. Follow on Facebook. Like and follow the page. Facebook.com/sudsandsquaredcircle. And I believe it's Suds and Squared Circle or Suds and Squared Circle podcast. And I'm going to go ahead and just go to it now. Circle. Yep, Facebook.com/Suds and Squared Circle. So go ahead and like it and subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/@Suds and Squared Circle. Follow on, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Again, my name is Vinny Apicella. Have a great day, everybody, and we will see you next week or later this week with a bonus episode on Suds and the Squared Circle podcast.